Hello, beautiful person, handsome, gorgeous, wild, audacious, crazy, righteous person. You matter. What you say matters. What you do matters.
I'm tired. It's super raw. It's real. It's so real.
So, I wanted to ask you this question. You
Sure.
talk about how most of us live our lives by accident.
Yeah.
Now, I think that all of this community that's watching, they recognize that.
Yeah.
I think the majority of people that I speak to, at least, the people that are conscious to it,
Yeah.
recognize that. What do you do from there? Right? What do they do from there?
Right. So I'll take myself for example, right? So I was living in London and attending law school. I was becoming disillusioned with the law. I happened to be dating a girl who was in advertising. She said, "You might like advertising," and boom, I have a career in marketing. Like, I fell into it. So many of us fall into our careers and fall into our jobs. And even if we do pursue something we want to do, sometimes it takes diversions, right? This is what I mean by living our lives by accident, which is we largely leave the direction of our careers and sometimes even our own happiness to others, our bosses, and all of that thing. So what it means to live your life on purpose means you understand the direction you're heading, but you remain agnostic as to the route. Most people try very, very hard to plan the route. In other words, what's your plan? People say, well, first I'm going to work here for 3 years, then I'm going to quit and I'm going to do this, and then for 4 years, they got the route planned. And the question is, where are you going, right? And that to me is what it means to have purpose. It means to have destination, right? It's like waking up in the morning and saying, I'm going on holiday. Somebody says, well, where are you going? I said, I'm going on vacation, I told you. You're like, where are you going? Vacation, right? And so how are you going to get there? You're like, well, I'm taking Route 95. So you've got the route planned, but you have no destination. And you see this in companies all the time. Why does your company exist? Growth. Great. Why are you growing? Why do you need to grow? What does growth mean? Because we're a company, we have to grow. And so they figure out all of these paths for growth, but they don't know where they're going. I would rather someone wake up in the morning and say, California. I'm trying to get to California, and I don't care what route I take. I'm going to start down Route 95, and if I find a better route, I'm going to take it. If there's traffic on Route 95, I'm going to take a side road. So this is what happened in my career. People kept telling me that I was unfocused because I kept taking side roads. I wasn't unfocused. I was going around obstacles. So that's what it means to live a life of purpose. It means I live every single day of my life trying to get to an endpoint. In my case, to create a world in which the vast majority of people wake up every single morning inspired to go to work, feel safe when they're there, and return home at the end of the day fulfilled by the work that they do. That is the destination I'm trying to reach. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to try every path I can to get there. Highly, highly focused. That's what it means to live a life on purpose. Right now, the problem with simply running on gut is it's not scalable. This is the reason we want to learn our why, learn to articulate and be able to speak our why so that others can understand why we're making the decisions we're making. Because the problem is if you only trust your gut, to those around you, sometimes it does appear that we're crazy or unfocused. And so people leave us and don't help us because they think we're nuts. The minute we can articulate and speak that why with clarity that others can understand, then not only will they have context for the decisions we're making, but they'll rally to help us and even do things that we didn't even ask because they understand the higher purpose that we're trying to advance.
So one of my favorite quotes is, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan. I'm Joe Clark, your designated curator, and in today's video, I bring you back Simon Sinek, sitting down with Jay Shetty. Simon Sinek very, very clearly articulates that quote to me, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan, in this question that he was asked. So as you guys know, I'm going to bring you the best channels and the best speakers and thought leaders and innovators from all different kinds of industries. I had to bring Simon Sinek back on this one because I think before we get too far ahead of ourselves, that's kind of ironic, that we articulate where we're going, that we understand what it means to even say, what it means to even understand in your heart on a vision, on a compass, on a finish line. I think it's so funny, right? As human beings, we have the audacity to think that we can plan not only on where we're going, but on how to get there and expect that it's going to happen. I mean, this doesn't even happen like on your way to work, right? That like you make a plan, I'm going to leave at 7 o'clock, I'm going to get there at this time, and like traffic happens, accidents happens, deers crossing road happens, ducks crossing roads happens. The fact that we think that we can make 3-month, 1 year, 3-year, 30-year goals on where we think our finish lines are going to be and how we're going to get there is a little insane. But that's just my opinion. If you have that, if you are that person that has made that goal and has got there that way that you said that you were going to get there without diverging from the way that you thought you were going to get there, please turn off the video now. This is not for you, and I want no part of what you have to say about me or my thoughts. That being said, for the rest of you, which is all of you, if you've made a plan to get somewhere and made a plan for how you were going to get there, I hope at this point in time, at wherever you're sitting watching this video, that you have a realistic expectation that the point is not to get there perfectly. The point is not to get there exactly the way that you were going to get that you thought you were going to get there, and that maybe you've learned at this point in time in your life that it's so much better and satisfying, gratifying, and exhilarating to get there in a way different than you were thought you were gonna get there, and that it was actually way better. And then you can look back and say, really, that way that I got to where I was going was the only way that I was gonna get there in the first place. A lot of us have a different name for that. We call it reverse engineering. We call it starting from the end, planning backwards. I call it personally reverse engineering. So what that means to me, right, is to understand where my goal is and work backwards from there. Understand where my vision is and to work backwards from there, to understand where the finish line is. I personally think that as a leader, which we've talked about in previous expos, that the cost of leadership is sacrifice. The cost of leadership is selflessness, not selfishness. In order to get people to go with you to where you are trying to go, you have to not only communicate to them in a gut feeling that you are you are fighting for something that is bigger than yourself, that not only that, but that also you are fighting for something and you are working towards reaching a place, a destination that has a clear and tangible and understandable finish line. Without the ability to communicate that, you are shooting yourself in the foot, thinking that people will also act selflessly and not selfishly and helping you get to that place. Now, don't get me wrong, having a vision for getting somewhere is not necessarily the point of this video. It's the beforehand. It's talking about the expectation, the reality of what it takes to get there. And if I can communicate anything to you today, it's just a reminder, at the very least, if you've never heard it, a lesson, if you've heard it before, an encouragement. If you're already on that path, it is a beseechment to remember that the way that you get there in the process is the point, and it's not about your plan. I can't say it. I can't communicate to you in a clearly enough fashion what I'm trying to communicate. Okay, I got it. So it's not about where you're going per se. It's not about how you're going to get there. But why are you going to where you're going? Understand that, communicate that, and people will 100% support you on a goal that's not just bigger than yourself, but a finish line that is bigger than all of us, that feels attainable when we do it together. There's something to that. So you have a reasonable question now, which is, Where is Exalt going? Well, I'll tell you. We're going